This upcoming draft class is loaded when it comes to guards, and the Mavs need guards. Today, I'm talking about Keaton Wagler and Christian Anderson and more on today's One More Thing of Locked On Mavs.
I'm not a doctor, so...
That's it. It's me versus the machines.
I don't know.
Shame.
Nice penetrating thrust to the middle.
Hot man, the hot player.
Wait. One more thing. You are locked on the Dallas Mavericks. It's one of your hosts, Isaac Harris, covering the Mavs for the last 10 years alongside my good friend, Nick Angstead. And today I'm talking about the draft. We got an off day before the Mavs get back playing on Wednesday night. And I want to talk about this draft, man, because the Mavs have a lottery pick. They should have a lottery pick in this upcoming draft, and it is loaded. I love this draft class. Started watching this class a while back. I am no draft expert. That is for the No Ceilings guys and Sam Vicinis of the world and Wasserman and just all that Gavoni. Those are the draft experts, but I really enjoy draft stuff. Every year I try to dive into the draft. Even if the Mavs have a pick or not, I nerd out when it comes to prospects and draft stuff. If there was a lane in basketball that if I didn't cover the Mavs or, it would be NBA draft coverage. I just love draft stuff. But, for the Mavs, I think will, be targeting a guard. Let's just say that. And what a class to target a guard in if you land in with a lottery pick in this upcoming draft, because this class in 2026 is loaded with guards. Back, I guess, a month or so ago, I did like a first draft thing and one more thing. I actually created like a playlist on YouTube. So if you want to like just keep track or you want to go back and just really like listen to some draft stuff, I got a couple episodes in here. Here's a third one, and we'll keep them going. Nick did one with No Ceilings. So with Nathan over at No Ceilings the other day, and Nathan's like huge on Christian Anderson. So it made me go back and look up a lot of Christian Anderson stuff at Texas Tech. And, when you look at Keaton Wagler over the weekend, puts up 46, or I say over the weekend, I guess it was a few days ago. And Wagler's this kid out of Illinois that is like super young, super skinny, but man, I'll talk about it more in a second. But if you want a guard and you're in the lottery of this upcoming draft, then you should be in luck. All right. I think for the Mavericks, it depends on where you land, depends on if you want to pick which guard you want versus you get the guard that's kind of like left over, right? And right now, the Mavericks, as of Tuesday, before the Tuesday night games, Dallas sits with the 10th best odds in the draft. That is a 13.9% chance at landing a top 4 pick, according to Tankathon. But here's the thing. There's a group of teams right through here. Dallas at 10, Milwaukee at 9, Memphis at 8, Charlotte at 7. These 4 teams are separated by a half game. They're all together here. So they're really close. And Dallas is at 10. They're really close. They can move all the way up to 7. Now, 6 is Utah at 4. They're like, a full 4 games back or ahead of Utah. You're probably not getting to 6 at this point, considering Utah is probably the most shady tank team out there. And I don't think anybody else above them is going to, So I think the highest right now Dallas is looking at is like, can you get to the 7th spot? Charlotte's won 3 in a row and they're at the 7th spot. So I think they could be going up in the standings. They come to Dallas here pretty soon. And then who knows what Memphis and Milwaukee is going to do. So, but let's just operate let's just say, because let me just say this, if you move up to 7, you move up to like a 31.9% chance of moving into the top 4. Obviously, if you can get top 3 in this draft class, even top 4, you're getting a prospect that's going to go with Cooper. That's going to be amazing. Tabonsa, Boozer, Peterson, all of those would be, mind-boggling to add with Cooper moving forward. If you land at the 4 spot to get Flemings or Caleb Wilson would be insane. But let's just operate with this like 7 to 10 range, somewhere through there. The guards that Dallas could go after. I did an episode a few weeks ago to where I talked pretty extensively, where I did some like high level stuff on the main names through there, the Mikel Brown Jr., the Darius Acuff Jr., Labaron Philon at Alabama. Fleming says since then, like just elevated way above those guys. Fleming's is like locked in at 4. And I would honestly say it would not shock me if he surpassed Caleb Wilson at 4. I think a lot of people have Caleb Wilson at 4. I like Caleb Wilson a lot. Carolina, just a freak on the wing. It's crazy. But Flemings is just incredible right now. I think he's going to be really good. So he's locked there for that top 5. So I think you're looking at this group of guards for a team like Dallas that needs some backcourt help. Because for me in this lottery range or in this top 10 range, I think you could look at Quayton at Kentucky, who's a big. I'm scared to death of him, so I just don't want to take any chance of him in the top 10 if I'm Dallas. I love Lindeborg at Michigan, but I think in that top 7 or 8 might be a little stretch for him, but I love him. He's older though, so I think you're looking at some of these guards through here in Dallas. If there's a position that Dallas needs and wants moving forward, it is a playmaker. It is a creator at the guard position. So I'm going to kind of I want to circle back to Brown, Acuff, Philon, because I want to talk about 2 guys in particular that have generated a lot of buzz over the past, I want to say 48 hours, 72 hours, past week. And that's Keaton Wagler and Christian Anderson. 2 guys that I admittedly had not done a ton of stuff on. I'd watched Christian Anderson a little bit more than what I'd used to because I love draft stuff. But Christian Anderson also plays for Germany also in their U18, U19 stuff. And he's going to be on their national team. I mean, it's only a matter of time. So I've heard about Christian Anderson longer than a Keaton Wagler. For Keaton Wagler, it is, Waggler kind of came out of nowhere. Waggler is 19 years old. Hold on. My daughter's right here. All right, I'm back. Sorry. My kids are watching the old Batman animated series, and my daughter had to ask me a question about Man-Bat. Anyway, so I want to talk about Keaton Wagler, Christian Anderson. Waggler is this kid that kind of came out of nowhere. All right. And I have watched so much Keaton Wagler stuff over the past 48 hours. It's probably unhealthy. Trying to dig up anything and everything about Keaton Wagler because a lot of people sent his name to me. He explodes for 46 points the other day, and it's like, holy crap. And he's this bigger guard from Illinois. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see what it's about. How high can he go up in some of these mock drafts or in some of these rankings? And is he a realistic shot for Dallas in that second half of the lottery there? So Wagler's 6'6", he's 19 years old. And there was a great piece written on him in The Athletic. I think it was published on Friday. To learn a little bit more about him, because not saying that I'm some college basketball guru. I'm not at all. Or I'm no draft guru. I just obsess over it. And I love NBA draft stuff and prospects, but I just hadn't heard a ton about Keaton Wagler. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm getting old, I just can't keep up with all these kids. But it made me feel a little bit better because in the article it says he's the 200 and something 51st ranked recruits coming out of his class to go to Illinois. And I literally couldn't find a ranking of him anywhere. I'm a weirdly big guy when it comes to high school rankings to see what they were ranked in high school. And for him, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything in the top 100 on ESPN. You can look at 247 sports stuff, but it's I couldn't find him anywhere in these top rankings. He was barely recruited, barely had offers. It was Minnesota, Illinois, and some smaller schools. And I thought it was fascinating in the piece that was written for The Athletic of the top question for Keaton Wagler last year was hey, are you going to redshirt? Are they going to redshirt you at Illinois? And now he's legitimately are you a lottery pick? The rise of Keaton Wagler from this skinny 6'6" kid to hey, am I going to redshirt this year and on hardly anybody's radar to bam, now he could potentially be a lottery pick, which I think he will if he actually comes out, which is still a question for some people is hey, is he going to come out or come not or stay there at Illinois? The key thing for him, when you look at the Keaton Wagler stuff, is he comes in as a shooting guard, right? And he has this big frame. He's this wing. And then their starting point guard gets hurt. They move him to this point guard spot, and now he's just blown up. and he puts up 46 against Purdue at Purdue. That tape is a lot of fun. Go back and watch a lot of that if you can. But that move to point guard has like opened up, which I'm fascinated to see what happens with Boswell when he comes back, and the other guard there on Illinois. But when you look at like his background and stuff, he is like, he grew up as this pass first, playmaking, make the smart move. It wasn't a scoring type of background. And I thought a telling piece in this Athletic thing about Keaton Wagler was, it said when he got to campus at Illinois that he was there for 2 weeks, and they called back to his like trainer family back home and said, "Hey, you better get an agent. Like he's going to be that good." So I think now it's like he is kind of like I'm going to say eye of the beholder a lot, because these guards all have their strengths and weaknesses. But for him, it's like for a team, he is going to be one of the wild cards for me in this draft, because if you're a team that's been scouting these guys, you've been watching a lot of these guys for a long time, and you get a guy like Waggler has this like just fast rise into the lottery of hardly any big offers, even going into, and then bam, in a matter of no time, he's like projected lottery pick because of his size. He's 6'6", can shoot the lights out, has this amazing playmaking feel for the game. And he's super young. He's 19. But then on the other side, he has this super skinny frame. There's even stuff in there about him eating, how they like make him eat. They're like, you got to gain weight, in which he has gained weight since he's been there at Illinois and stuff. But some people say there's like a lack of explosion, lack of burst. Don't go trying to find any Keaton Wagler dunks. I don't know if they exist. I don't think he's had a dunk this whole year. So it's kind of like this, for Keaton Wagler, it's like, do you believe in the rise, and do you think it's going to keep on going this way? Or do you think it's like a temporary thing? Do you think he's like too young or too raw? Is he going to go back? If he stays in, who takes the swing on him? He has this like shifty high dribble back and forth. That's like his like kind of his ISO stuff to get past people, that kind of stops time and motion for a little bit and confuse the defender, and he'll get past them. But a lot of times he uses a step back. He has an incredible shot. I mean, he's shooting really, really good from three. Jonathan Wasserman had a comp of Jamal Murray, and I thought that was incredible. Of Murray's not going in the lane and yamming on people. He's not killing you with like this crazy, just the crazy bursts and everything. But Jamal Murray's really good, and he's going to be an all-star this year. So that's Keaton Wagler. And I want to talk about Christian Anderson, and then I want to talk about both of them in a second, where I have them ranked with the other guys. This podcast is brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. This is time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our businesses and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo. Smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. And guys, Quo makes it so simple. There's a smart AI tool, automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps. So details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise, Quo is the number one rated business phone system on G2, trusted more than 90,000 businesses. Make this year the no opportunity, no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnba. That's QUO.com/lockedonnba. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. This podcast is also brought to you by our friends over at TurboTax. Guys, it's tax season. Who's already done their taxes? Shut up. No, you haven't. This is where TurboTax comes in. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without stress or guesswork. It's a huge time saver. It gives a real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file it for you last year, just file by February 28th. take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, talking about some guard prospects. Keaton Wagler from Illinois had a fun game the other day, and has Mavs fans talking because, hey, when you get to that 7-10, 7-11 range there in the lottery, which is where Dallas is currently setting, then if you want a guard, I think there will be a guard there. So just finished talking about Keaton Wagler. Let's talk about Christian Anderson. Nathan over at No Ceilings. I think Nathan has a fat head of Christian Anderson on his wall in his bedroom because I don't know anybody that loves Christian Anderson more than him. It honestly made me want to go back and watch more Christian Anderson, which I did over the past few days. I think I annoy my wife watching so much of these tapes of these prospects because we were sitting there watching the new season of Hijack the other day on Apple TV. And it's really late at night. Our newborn is asleep kind of next to us. And I was like, hey, did you know Keaton? I was like, Keaton Wagler, he hit this growth spurt in high school and he jumped up 6 inches in this 1 year. And his mom was like, and she's just looking at me like, what does this have to do with the show? And anyway, so that's what I do when I watch TV shows or hang out with my wife, which is probably not good. Christian Anderson plays for Texas Tech. He's a sophomore at Tech. He's 19. He's 6'4". Thing about Christian Anderson, if you've heard him and you're like, I've heard of him, but I haven't watched a lot of Texas Tech. He plays for the German national team, U18, U19. He's played there for the last 4 or 5 summers. Eventually, he's going to be on the big boy squad, what I call it. But he's been playing a lot. He's been playing with Germany because his dad was born in Germany. I think his mom's from Virginia. But so he has this, he plays for the German national team. And that's where I've watched probably more of him play basketball than I have at Tech. And then after Nathan and No Ceilings hopped on the show with Nick the other day here at Locked On Mavs, I was like, all right, got to go back and watch more of him. And I like him a lot. Even watching more of him, like I said, he's a sophomore. So he played last year. He comes back. He played a lot of off ball last year, and now he's playing a lot of on ball, which is kind of a thing, a sneaky thing with a lot of these guys, a lot of these guards in this draft, because you look at a Labaron Philon last year at Alabama, played off ball, kind of played that 2-guard spot next to Sears, and Sears graduated. Now Philon's playing point guard at Alabama this year. Now he's kind of excelling. I just said that about a Waggler. Boswell goes down. They move Waggler to point guard. He's excelling right now at Illinois. Christian Anderson plays off ball last year. Now he's playing on ball this year, and he's playing really, really well. He is one of the best shooters at the point guard position. He is a lights out, over 40% shooter. You look at his assist percentage, it's over 30%, 33%, 34%. So I like Christian Anderson a lot. I like watching that Tech team. A lot of fun topping. The biggest thing with Christian Anderson, that when you look at guys like Vicini or Wasserman or No Ceilings outside of Nathan, is the physical limitations of him. I think he's 6'3". A lot of people look at it and it's like, man, is he going to be big enough? He's a floor general guy. He can shoot it. But does he have the athleticism, size, frame to hold up in the NBA? And I think this is one of the biggest things about Darius Acuff too at Arkansas. You can never go wrong, I guess, of drafting a point guard from John Calipari. The history tells you that's pretty good. But with Acuff at Arkansas, he's 6'3". I think he looks small on the floor. He's more stout, right? But he's not. The frame of that scares me of Acuff. And there was even a thing of, gosh, who said it about? I want to get this right here about Acuff that I was reading a few days ago. It was Wasserman. Wasserman said there's not many success stories of his measurements and low rebound, steals, and block rates in the NBA. So statistically, in the history of these prospects coming out that are his size, the smaller size, with the low rebound, block, steal rates that Acuff has, statistically it tells you it just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen in a successful way in the NBA in history. So anyway, so for Christian Anderson, it's like, what do you like? What's the difference between him and Darius Acuff? And that's what I'm trying to like differ right now because Acuff has been playing really, really good at Arkansas with his passing, playmaking. He has the big shots, clutch moments, downhill. He gets downhill really good. I think Christian Anderson's a little bit better defensively than Acuff, and that's where, for me, I think I give Christian Anderson just a slight nod over Acuff. And I like his international experience too, playing with Germany. Yeah. So the more I watch of Christian Anderson, I like him. I don't have him at the top. I don't have him right behind Flemings for me. So it's like, all right, so who is in this group? Because once you get past the top five of, in some order, Peterson, Devonta, Boozer, and then, Wilson and Flemings are kind of in that 4 or 5 spot right now. That 6th spot to whatever group it is, it's just a big group of players. And you look at the guards through there, Philon, Acuff, Brown, Waggler, Christian Anderson. If we just worked with those 5, I don't think Bennett Sturts is up there. Sorry if you're a big Sturts fan. I think he's good. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be a backup point guard. But when you're looking at those 5 through there, it's what weakness do you think is easier to look past or is easier to improve in the NBA? Because you look at a guy like Acuff and you got the physical stuff, the low rebound block steal rates, and you're like, all right, can you succeed in the league? You look at a guy like Labaron Philon, is there enough explosion there? Is he just like kind of I like Philon a lot. I want to say probably more than most down in Alabama, because I like watching him. He's a sophomore also, but him playing off the ball last year, I think he has a really high IQ. He's 20, so he's a little bit older. I don't even want to say that. Feels weird saying that. A little bit older when someone's 20, but Waggler. Will the frame, lack of explosion, is that fine? A guy that's 6'6", do you want him? You probably want him like yamming on people and having this like crazy athleticism, but are you okay with having a 6'6" point guard who is kind of like a Jamal Murray type? Christian Anderson, are you scared about the frame and stuff? And just the physical frame, is that going to be limiting to him? Mikel Brown, he had a dud of a game against Duke the other day. He's been hurt with the back stuff, but I still believe in Mikel Brown. I know it's not popular right now. I get it, but I still believe in Mikel Brown. So how I would currently rank them for me right now, obviously Flemings is above the rest. Don't get mad at me. I still have Mikel Brown as the next one. I still hold true. And I get a lot of us while we watch the Duke game. We're like, man, look at his shooting numbers in this game. Is it his inefficient shooting numbers so far this season? I get it. There are 2 lanes with him that scares me. One, he's playing some off ball and stuff right now. I think if him in a primary point guard role, playmaking, some of the Team USA stuff, not that he's played in some international stuff over the past few years, some of the high school stuff. His feel for the game, still for me, and I could change this in the next couple of weeks, and I almost did, but I'm like, I gotta hold true to what I've seen and believed in with him. I still give him a slight edge because I think his playmaking, feel for the game, athleticism, what he can do just above the rim, and his the shots that he can make and create, I think it has a little bit higher of a ceiling than any of the other guys. After that, for me, I have Keaton Wagler. I would take the swing on him. I have Waggler over Christian Anderson, Philon, and Acuff. He's so young, but I love his feel. And this could be recency bias because I've just spent 48 hours, I feel like, watching everything in the world about Keaton Wagler and reading everything. I love it. I love the size, 6'6", positional size. I lean towards the positional size a lot when it comes to prospects. And that's where, Brown's 6'4", so he's a little bit bigger than like Acuff and Christian Anderson. But so yeah, I have Mikel Brown Keaton Wagler, Christian Anderson, Labaron Philon, and Darius Acuff. That's how I would rank those five. Not putting Fleming's in there because he's above them. So y'all can tell me where you have them. I think it's just the eye of the beholder right now. I honestly like all five of them to an extent. So I think if Dallas walks out of this with any of those five, it would be great. I would want them to kind of get their pick of those guys, or at least the higher you get in the draft, and the easier it might be to move up if you want. You never know who's going to reach for who in the draft process, who's going to want to get their prospect in Dallas to play with Cooper Flagg and to learn from Kyrie Irving. Don't underestimate that. And then also what teams there in the lottery already have like a point guard that you're like, man, they might like pass on it. Like if Brooklyn sits there like 5 or 6 and they're like, hey, we literally spent like 48 picks last year on point guards, and we don't want to do that. We want to take a wing, or we want to take Quaintons at Kentucky. I don't know. Or like Utah's like, which they probably shouldn't. Any of these bad teams should probably just take best player available. But if Utah's like, hey, Keontae George, we don't know. We really believe that he's like a star in the league. We don't want another guard in here to kind of like, we don't know if they're going to fit together. Do they pass on a guard? So the higher you get up in the draft, the chance of someone dropping, or the chance of, just you being able to pick out of the group that you really like. So that's how I feel right now. I might put some on socials. Y'all can tell me how you would rank those 4 or 5 guards in the draft. And yeah, we'll be back with another episode later tonight and tomorrow morning. Peace out. Boom.